Martin, Michael Tannenbaum. I want Michael. How about that, Mike T? Great to have you.
That's just my mom when she's mad at me.
I'm sorry, I don't even know where that came from. It was just vomit in the mouth. And Stephen A. Smith. Hey, Stephen A.
Good morning, everybody. A couple of things. Number one, Kimberley, it's very good to see you. As always, you do know the responsibility that comes with sitting in that chair. I'm going to remind you of that. That is number one. Mike T., Mr. CIA himself, it is good to see you on First Take, but you do understand that when you start off the show, all right, with you, you ain't just coming in the middle of the show. We start off the show with you. There's an elevated level of responsibility. And to the matriarch herself, Molly, you know what you're doing. All I want to say is that the color that you rocking today is similar to the color that you was rocking yesterday.
To expect a tough training camp. By Salah's count, the Jets have taken 300 more practice reps than they had at this point last year. Rodgers has yet to take a preseason snap and is leaving it up to his head coach to decide if he'll play in the finale Saturday against my Giants. Aaron's at the mic with more.
I would say the camp is much harder this year and maybe the hardest in the last 7 or 8 of my career. I knew that. I had a little insight coming into camp that that's what Robert wanted to do. So I think it's been good for us. You know, there's a lot of different schools of thought, and there's always, you know, people you can scapegoat as far as injuries and different things. But I think some of the older guys enjoy the to steal a coaching word, the callous part of training camp where you're kind of grinding. And some people believe that although it puts more, you know, strain on you in training camp, it actually gets you more ready to play when the season starts. And then some people believe the opposite.
All right, so Rodgers hasn't taken a meaningful snap in almost a year. Kimberley, do you think he should play in the preseason finale, a little New York versus New York action?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Tell me why.
Molly, Michael, Stephen, how many snaps did that man play last year? How many? 4.
Four.
His entire season was 75 seconds.
Yeah, good point.
I don't want to see him on the field before he needs to be there. Yes, he played some preseason action already. That's it. Shut it down. You know why? Because he is that critical. Everything this entire season hinges upon his health and availability. And what's the biggest question, Mike Tannenbaum, about this Jets team? How healthy can their 40-year-old quarterback be throughout the season, a 17-game season? So why even risk it? I think, again, 20 years in the NFL. I think he knows how to evade pressure. If he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll trust Aaron to evade some pressure. Again, I don't need to see it in the preseason. Week 1, who is he playing? What defense? San Francisco defense. I just need this man to come back healthy from that game. That's it. If you're a Jets fan, that's all you need to see.
So, look, Stephen A., you have high expectations for me. We all have high expectations for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets this year. And let me tell you this, the only way you're going to maximize that is he has to go out in the preseason and play, and he has to understand where he is to protect himself. We know in football, guys, that 0.1 second can make all the difference in the world between getting hit, a throwaway, a sack, whatever it may be. If I'm Nathaniel Hackett, I don't know what I have in Aaron Rodgers. I have expectations, I have hope. But we haven't seen him play since September 11th a year ago. He's 40 years old, coming off an Achilles tendon injury. We just don't know, does he still have that same sure air of quickness? If we're being honest and watching Russell Wilson come out from under center in Pittsburgh, he looks like a skill-diminished player. Let's hope for the Jets that's not the case. But until he's actually trying to evade pressure, protect himself, we're not going to know. So not only if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd want to play, but if I'm the play caller of the Jets going on the road on Monday Night Football, on ESPN, on opening day against Nick Bosa and company, is it a max protection game? Is it a quick game? Can we really hold up against them? Can Aaron Rodgers still slide? Do we still have short area quickness? We need to see that with live action. So to me, I think he does play. You obviously want to protect him in a reasonable amount of way. But the other thing is, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I want to go out there. I want to get hit. I want to make sure that all the, in terms of the psychological pressure of coming off of the injury, when I've talked to players over the years, that to me is the last step. So not only do I want to play and perform, but I want to face some live bullets here before opening day.
Well, there's a couple of nuggets I want to throw out there before I even get to your points because I completely disagree with you, Mike T. Let me get that out the way. But a couple of things. Number one, it is rare that I look this good. So to the director and everybody, I think you got to elevate the camera. I need to show more of my outfit and stuff like that because I'm looking pretty damn good this morning. I mean, I think they're trying to squash it. I think you need to elevate it, show more of what I'm giving to the American people.
Stephen A., hold up.
I'm just saying.
You get one night in L.A.
Don't know how to act. Don't know how to act.
Yeah, I know. Who let you even leave the house? I mean, this is unbelievable.
I'm just saying.
You're already feeling yourself.
There's levels to this, and I'm on it this morning. That's number one. Number two, Mike T, getting back to football, before I get to your football
Stephen A.,
points,
I need
Mike
a smaller desk because I'm too far from. No, I just have to say one thing. I have to say one thing. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. I just have to say it. I'm sorry. You're disrupting my flow really quick.
Hold on a second. Excuse me. I didn't disrupt your flow yesterday when you had on that shiny outfit. Now, don't start with me. Now, let me get back to you, Mike T. Let me get back to you, Mike T. Next time, instead of the white pocket square, try the lavender with the jacket. It'll work better. Number three, you brought up Aaron Rodgers.
Take that as a gift.
You brought up Aaron Rodgers at age 40. He's 41. I think he's 41. That's number one. Number two, here's the thing, Mike T. He's won 2 of the last 4 league MVPs. Am I correct in saying that? I think I am. I think he's last 2 of the last 4 MVPs, right? So outside of the Giants for a couple of snaps, you know, I think that's the only time that he has shown up in the preseason in years. It didn't stop him from being an MVP. And so when I look at the New York Jets, this is a team. Hold on, Mike T. I know you're gonna get your chance. I just let you talk now. Hold on for a second here. We've seen a Jets franchise that is clearly snake bitten. They haven't been to the postseason since 2010. You understand? They got to pray for relevancy. I mean, this is a team that got to pray to be relevant. That's how bad they've been. You know, so much is riding on him. I completely agree with Kimberley here. If he wasn't experienced, if he wasn't the veteran that he is, if he hadn't been in the league since 2005, if he wasn't a 4-time league MVP and a Super Bowl champion who's been to about 5 NFC Conference Championship games, it would be a bit different. But when you are playing with house money because you are the face of the franchise and you have that kind of value, and the number one obligation is keeping you healthy first before you think about anything else, I'm saying don't do it. I agree with you from a football standpoint. It would be better for him to be out there in real action and developing timing and chemistry and cohesiveness with his teammates. But that pales in comparison to making sure he's healthy enough to play in a regular season game first. And when you get hurt on a 4th play of the regular season and you're out the entire year, I'm sorry. I'll risk him being rusty as long as I know he's healthy.
How many snaps, how many drives would be sufficient in the preseason finale against the Giants for you to say, okay, now week 1, I feel better about Aaron?
You know, traditionally what teams would do is they would take the old 3rd preseason game, they play a half and maybe one other drive. So you probably have whatever, maybe 5 drives, 4 drives. He probably doesn't need that much. But again, like Kimberley, I just want to make sure that he can protect himself. Because look, the one thing the Giants can do is they could pressure. Now, look, those guys may not play. I understand that. But I want to see him in game conditions, something we haven't seen in a year. Again, when the wheels fall off, guys, in pro football, it can happen fast.
What the hell is practice for then? I mean, why all the practice in there, Mike? I mean, come on, man.
Jersey. It's a different sport when you're a quarterback at a practice. They can't even look at you without it being a penalty. So
I'm saying to you, Mike, you know this better than me. The man spent a vast majority of his career participating not at once in preseason. So I'm saying to you, wait a minute. This is a guy that's been around for nearly 20 years. And most of the time he hasn't participated in the preseason, and he still ended up winning 4 MVPs. What are you talking about?
That's ancient history. He's 40 years old.
Ancient history?
Yeah, he has an Achilles injury. Look at Russell Wilson. Does Russell Wilson at 36 in Pittsburgh?
Stop bringing up Russell Wilson.
Does he look the same that he looked a couple years ago?
So we comparing Russell Wilson to Aaron Rodgers.
No, he doesn't look the same he looked a couple years ago.
Okay, we are not
Thank you.
I'll answer your question.
Thank you, Molly.
We are not comparing these two guys. I'm
Why?
sorry, we're not doing it.
Why is that not germane to this discussion?
It's not germane to this discussion
some of us,
because they're not the same. They're not the same caliber of player.
He doesn't look the same as he looked 2 years ago and stuff like that. Some of us look better with time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, obviously
Yeah,
you're
I'm
talking
just
about.
saying. I mean,
you're talking about-
he could
Are-
come
are
back
we-
this
was
season
that-
and look
Stephen A.,
better than
are you-
than he looked the last
Is that
couple
your
of years.
first compliment for Kimberly and I today?
That is really sweet.
That
Thank
was
you.
so
Take it,
nice of
can
you.
take it,
Thank
can take
you.
it. I mean, I was talking about myself, but you can take it.
Thank you. I know. And Mike T. I like that Mike T just got the solo shot on that one.